several anecdotes and a personal story that create an enigma for us, as well as asking a question that leads us into another avenue of inquiry. The anecdotes are, the first one is about Ramakrishna, and in the annals written of his story, it tells of the time he had a vision where he spiraled up into the celestial realms, where he saw a cloud, and formed out of that cloud were 7 sages, their eyes closed in deep meditation. But he spoke to one of those sages, and he said, "I am going down. Will you go with me?" And with that, one of the sages opened their eyes, and a piece of him broke off and spiraled down to earth to take the embodiment of Vivekananda. Vivekananda, who was the disciple of Ramakrishna, who brought Vedanta, Advaita, to the West. But it's also told of Ramakrishna that before Vivekananda embarked on his journey to the West, Ramakrishna called him to him, and he is said to have transmitted all of his power to Vivekananda. And he said to Vivekananda, "Now I am a beggar." But it's also written of Ramakrishna, that vision where he saw that he had to assume a body in a northwesterly direction to complete his work with the householders. And we know the story of Divine Mother, how the messenger came to her and told her that she had been chosen to take the power of Ramakrishna to complete his work with the householders. Now, we know how the messenger came to Divine Mother, and that the power came in stages to her. But during that time in Hawaii, there was a group of Vedanta monks who came from the mainland to Hawaii, and Divine Mother sent several of us. She would not go herself, but she sent several of us to meet these monks. When we visited those monks, they confirmed that they knew the story of Ramakrishna and what he had said about assuming a body. And they also knew of Divine Mother, but they told that they were not able to acknowledge her because they were monks of the Vedanta society. Now, the personal anecdote, a story, is a story little known about the husband, Sing Shi. After we were posted to Hawaii a few months after, I met a yogi, a Chinese yogi from the Philippines, and Sing Shi and I spent a weekend with her at a retreat, a seminar, you could say. And after this, she came to live with us for 6 months. During the time with us, we followed her yogic purification practices carefully and assiduously until she left. But after this, Sing Shi was sent on posting to China, where he met a Qigong master and started practicing Qigong. His Qigong master was a little man who stored his qi in his forearm. So his forearm was huge, and he would channel the energy of this qi through his fingers, and he was able to cure melanomas and cancers that had formed in people. But Xingxi came back to Hawaii on a visit, and he met Divine Mother, and Divine Mother initiated him. And when he went back to China, he met a group of monks, and those monks told him that he had been a disciple of the Buddha, and they took him to their monastery, which was in a very isolated place in China. And they told him that there were 4 incarnations of the Buddha on earth at that time, and that they knew of 3 of them, but they had not yet been able to find the 4th incarnation. So, having been initiated by Divine Mother, Xingxi had her photograph with him, and he took this photograph of Divine Mother to the monks, and they immediately recognized Divine Mother as the 4th incarnation that they had been seeking. And they took her photograph and added it to those that they had, confirming that they had found the 4 incarnations of the Buddha alive at that time. So these anecdotes and stories create an enigma for us. What is the nature of this power? The strange paradox, you could say, that in one story Ramakrishna had given all his power to Vivekananda, and yet that power was passed to Divine Mother as his vision showed, and it came to her in stages, but it was the power to change the consciousness of those who came into her presence. So this is an enigma for us. How do we reconcile these stories told in the annals of Ramakrishna? But it asks the question, what is this power? What is its nature? And as for the story of Xingxi and the Buddha, well, that poses another big question for us. What is the nature of these lineages? One coming from the great Hindu tradition, and in fact the other, Buddhism, arising out of the seedbed of Hinduism. What is this power? What do these stories, these anecdotes tell us? Perhaps we have to let them brew a while in us as we settle into our own new state of awareness and being. No doubt, as is with all questions, the answers will arise for us through our experiences, our direct experiences of the myriad realms that we now have access